One small fire, a sleeping flock, and a boy awake beneath the Bethlehem stars. David watched over every sheep, but the night was larger than anything one boy could guard. He watched the sheep. God watched him. And tonight, you may rest inside that promise. Good evening and welcome to the Bible at Night. This is night 3, and tonight we are going out beyond Bethlehem, to the place where the hills grow quiet, where the sheep lie down, and where a young shepherd keeps the watch. You do not have to keep watch now. The day has ended. Whatever was left unfinished may remain unfinished. Whatever question followed you into this room does not need an answer before morning. Let the bed take your weight. Let the muscles around your eyes soften. Let your breathing find its own slow way. From this moment on, there will be no interruptions, no advertisements in the middle of the night. Nothing that asks you to wake up and pay attention. Only the story, the low wind over the grass, the quiet breathing of the flock, and the old promise that someone is still awake, even when you are not. Listen slowly. There is nowhere else you need to be. Before David was a king, before the songs and the city and the long roads of his life, he was the youngest son in a house near Bethlehem. When the older brothers stood together, they were easy to notice. They had the height and the confidence of men already stepping into the world. David was the one who was not in the room. The book of 1 Samuel remembers it in a single quiet sentence. There remaineth yet the youngest, and behold, he keepeth the sheep. He was outside. While important words were spoken in the house, David was on the hillside doing the ordinary work that could not be left undone. The sheep still needed grass, they still needed water, and when evening came, they still needed someone to stay awake. There is a kind of faithfulness that no one applauds because almost no one sees it. It happens after the door has closed. It happens when the lamps in the village have gone dark. It happens when everyone else assumes that someone, somewhere, will take care of the small things. David was that someone. The sun had gone down behind the western ridge. For a while, the stones held the warmth of the day. Then the warmth loosened and rose away, and the ground became cool beneath David's sandals. Far off, Bethlehem gathered itself for sleep. One lamp disappeared, then another, then another. On the hillside, the flock settled slowly. Sheep do not all lie down at once. First one turns in a small circle, choosing the earth. Another follows. A lamb presses close against its mother. A few remain standing, chewing softly, as though the day is not quite finished. David moves among them without hurry. He knows the white-faced ewe with the torn ear. He knows the old ram who always chooses the edge of the fold. He knows the small lamb who wanders 3 steps farther than wisdom allows. He counts them, not quickly. 1, and another, and another. The count is not merely a number. Each one has weight. Each one has a sound. Each one belongs to the care he has been given. At the opening of the low stone fold, David sets his staff within reach. He gathers 3 small pieces of wood and lays them on the watchfire. The flame rises once, warm and gold, then settles into a steady glow. It is the only warm light on the ground. Above it stretches the whole indigo night. To keep watch is mostly to listen. The eyes cannot hold every part of the darkness at once, but the ears can notice when the ordinary sounds change. The grass moving beneath a small hoof, the soft complaint of a lamb dreaming, the distant bark of a village dog, the wind touching one side of the hill before it touches the other. David listens. There is no fear in this listening, only attention. He has learned that the night has a language. Most of it says, "All is well." The flock breathes. The fire gives a quiet crack. The stars remain where they were. Every so often, David stands. He walks the outer stones. He checks the narrow place by the thorn bush. He lifts one sleeping lamb that has settled too near the cold edge and places it gently beside its mother. Then he returns to the large stone near the fire and sits with his back against it. He is tired. Not the sharp tiredness that arrives after fear. The deep, honest tiredness of someone who has walked since morning and done the work that was his to do. His hands smell faintly of wool and smoke. His cloak is rough against his cheek. For a moment he closes his eyes. Then one sheep shifts in the dark, and his eyes open again. This is the difficulty of keeping watch. Responsibility can begin to whisper that rest is dangerous. If you stop listening, something may happen. If you release the day, something may be forgotten. If you sleep, who will keep everything from coming apart? Perhaps you know that whisper. Perhaps it followed you into bed tonight. It may speak in the voice of work, or family, or health, or money. It may tell you that your attention is the thin cord holding the world together. It may tell you that the night needs you awake. But one human watcher cannot see the whole hill. David cannot look east and west at the same time. He cannot hear what happens beyond every ridge. He cannot count the stars, or command the wind, or hold the darkness at its edges. Faithfulness has limits, and the limits are not failure. David rests his hand on the curved wood of the staff. He thinks of the path he walked that afternoon, the narrow trail through dry grass, the hidden hollow where water gathered clear and cool between stones, the green place where the flock could feed without wandering. He had gone ahead of them. He had found the water. He had checked the ground. He had called, and they had followed. And now, in the stillness, a thought turns quietly around. What if the shepherd also has a shepherd? The shepherd image will one day be remembered in the psalm that bears David's name. We do not know when its words were first sung, but they belong beside this fire, as a refrain for the watcher and the watched. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The line settles beside the fire. The Lord is my shepherd. David knows what a shepherd does. A shepherd goes ahead. A shepherd notices the one who limps. A shepherd finds water before thirst becomes desperation. A shepherd keeps the path through the valley. If the Lord is his shepherd, then David is not standing outside all care. He is inside it. He is not the final wall between the flock and the night. He too is known. He too is counted. He too has a name in the mouth of the one who keeps him. David lifts his eyes toward the dark outline of the hills. They are older than the houses below, older than the low stone fold. They rise like great sleeping animals around the valley. The fire cannot reach them. His staff cannot reach them. Beyond them are roads he has never walked and dangers he cannot name. Long after David's night watch, another psalm would give the hills these words: I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? The question belongs to every watcher. Where does help come from when your own attention reaches its edge? Who keeps the part of the night you cannot see? Who guards the road beyond the hill? Who remains when your own strength grows quiet? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. The answer is larger than the hill, larger than the flock, larger than the dark. The one who made the ground beneath David is not confused by its shadows. The one who set the stars above him does not lose sight of one shepherd boy below. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. David looks down at his own feet, dusty from the day's path. He thinks of the sheep sleeping without argument. They do not know every danger beyond the wall. They know the shepherd is at the opening, and for them, that is enough. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The refrain moves over the flock like a slow wind. He neither slumbers nor sleeps, not for 1 hour, not at the deepest part of the night, not when the small fire lowers, not when the human watcher grows tired. God's watch does not become thin with exhaustion. There is no moment when his attention drifts beyond you. No corner of this night is outside his care. No silent room is too far away. No hill stands between the keeper and the kept. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The promise repeats around the story until it is no longer something David must hold. It begins to hold him. The night moves on. The stars turn so slowly that no eye can see them move, and yet, after a while, they are in a different place. The fire settles lower. The sheep are quiet. Somewhere in the valley, an owl calls once, and then does not call again. David stands and walks the fold one more time. He does not do this because the promise has made him careless. Trust is not neglect. He still checks the stones. He still counts the nearer shapes. He still listens. But the work has changed inside him. He is no longer pretending that his eyes are the only eyes open in the universe. He is no longer carrying the hills. He is simply doing the next small, faithful thing. One stone, one lamb, one quiet step. This is a gentle way to carry responsibility, not by holding tomorrow in your hands, not by watching every road at once, only by doing what belongs to this moment and returning everything beyond it to God. He watched the sheep. God watched him. The sentence is simple enough to sleep inside. He watched the sheep. God watched him. And because God watched him, David did not have to become the night. He could remain a boy beside a small fire. He could let the stars be stars. He could let the hills stand without explanation. The oldest sheep is resting near the stone now. A lamb has curled itself against the edge of David's cloak. The fire is mostly ember, a quiet red beneath a skin of ash. David draws the cloak around his shoulders. His staff remains within reach. He listens once more. The flock breathes. The wind passes gently through the grass. Bethlehem sleeps below. Nothing asks to be solved. Another psalm associated with David gives us the final line, softer than the first. Scripture does not tell us that it was written on this night, but it gathers the meaning of the night into one quiet sentence. I will both lay me down in peace and sleep. Not after every uncertainty is gone. Not after every hill has been searched. Not after morning has already come. Now, in the dark, while the road remains beyond the ridge and the whole future remains unseen. For thou, Lord, only makest me dwell in safety. I will both lay me down in peace and sleep. For thou, Lord, only makest me dwell in safety. David lowers his head against the stone. Perhaps he does not sleep deeply. A shepherd's sleep is light, but he rests, and the difference matters. His body is no longer arguing with the ground. His breathing falls into the same slow rhythm as the flock. The lamb beside him is warm. Above the fold, one star remains bright and steady. The small fire gives no more flame. It does not need to. The night is held by a light beyond the fire. The night does not end when David's head lowers. It only becomes quieter. He remains close enough to hear the flock, close enough to feel the lamb breathing against his cloak. But he is no longer standing at the edge of every shadow. His weight has settled against the stone. His hand lies open beside the staff. The work has not been abandoned. It has been placed inside a greater watch. As David's body settles, the shepherd's words settle with him. They move from the field into the heart, and from this point, the path becomes wider. If you lose your place, there will be no need to find it again. Psalm 23 may now become a quiet path through the rest of the night. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The Lord is my shepherd. David knows the closeness hidden inside that sentence. A shepherd is not a distant owner who remembers the flock only at the end of the day. A shepherd walks where the sheep walk. Dust gathers on his feet from the same path. The thorn that catches the wool also catches the edge of his cloak. When the flock crosses rough ground, he crosses it first. When the day grows warm, he looks for shade. When water is scarce, he searches until he finds it. The Lord is my shepherd. My shepherd. The words bring the care of heaven close enough to touch the path beneath David's feet. I shall not want. The sentence does not say that every wish will be answered before morning. It says there is a care deeper than the things that feel unfinished. There is enough grace for this breath, enough shelter for this hour, and mercy for a mind that cannot solve one more thing. David looks across the sleeping flock. No sheep is planning tomorrow's pasture. No lamb is tracing the road back to Bethlehem. They are resting inside the provision of this moment. The grass was given for the day. Now the stones hold the night, and the shepherd rests at the opening. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. To lie down is a gentle surrender. The sheep lie down because they are no longer searching. Their legs fold beneath them. Their weight settles into the earth. Their breathing becomes slow. They do not have to persuade the pasture to hold them. They simply allow themselves to be held. Perhaps the bed beneath you may become a green pasture now. This may be the place where striving ends and your body stops carrying itself. Let the pillow hold the weight of your head. Let the mattress hold your shoulders. Your hands may become quiet, and the small muscles around your eyes may release their work. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. There is kindness even in the lying down. The shepherd does not drive the weary flock through the night. He gives them a place to stop. He leadeth me beside the still waters. Earlier in the day, David led the flock toward water. He knew where the shallow path curved between the stones. He knew the hollow where the spring gathered. He knew that hurried water can trouble a timid animal, and that still water invites it near. Perhaps he stood with one foot on either side of the narrow stream. Perhaps he moved a loose branch away. Perhaps he waited while the oldest ewe lowered her head first. Then, one by one, the others came close. The water received the shape of each small mouth, then became still again. Still waters do not demand attention. They remain. There are thoughts that move like troubled water. One concern touches another. One unfinished conversation leads to another. The mind circles the same stone and returns to it again. No hand can force troubled water flat. Given stillness, it settles in its own time. simply let the shepherd lead you beside stillness. The words may pass slowly, with room for the water to settle. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. Restoration is quiet work. A field does not turn green in one instant. A tired body does not always feel different after one breath. A burdened heart may need to be held before it can become light. The psalm does not say that David restores himself. It does not say that the sheep repair their own weariness. He restoreth my soul. The shepherd is the one who does the restoring. So nothing is required from you in this moment. Questions may remain open. The right words may remain unfound. The shepherd receives the weary one as he is. Restoration may begin before you notice it, in the lengthening of the breath, in the moment when a sentence passes and you do not follow it, and the day quietly moves farther away. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. The paths around Bethlehem are pale in the daylight. At night, they are difficult to see. Yet David knows them by the shape of the ground. He knows where the path narrows beside a rock. He knows where it descends toward water. He knows where a sheep might turn toward the wrong ridge. A path does not have to reveal its whole length to be a path. It only needs to hold the next step. You do not need the whole road tonight. You do not need to see the morning from here. The next step may be no step at all. It may simply be this breath, and then the next. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. The psalm does not say that the valley is home. It says, I walk through. The shadow is not the destination. The shepherd does not abandon the path when the light grows dim. It is enough to know that David understood dark valleys. He understood places where the hills closed around the path. He understood that a sheep sees only the shadow near its feet, and he understood why the nearness of the shepherd changes the valley. For thou art with me. Thou art with me, here on the path, here within this hour. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. The staff lies across David's knees. It is ordinary wood, worn smooth where his hand has held it. It helps him climb. It guides the sheep away from a rough edge. It reaches gently toward the one that has wandered. The sheep do not understand everything the staff means. They know only that the familiar sound of it upon the stone means the shepherd is near. Comfort is sometimes no more complicated than nearness. Someone is here. Someone knows the path. Someone remains awake. Thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. The images of the psalm grow warmer now. A table prepared, oil poured gently upon a tired head, a cup with more than enough. These are images of welcome. The shepherd is not merely guarding the edges of the night, he is receiving the weary one. There is a place prepared. Care is already waiting there. David sits beside a fire that is nearly gone, yet the care surrounding him has not grown smaller with the flame. The little circle of amber light may fade, the greater welcome remains. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. David has spent the night following sheep, watching the one that drifts toward the outer stones, walking behind the slow one, turning the wandering lamb toward home. And now the psalm gives him another picture. Goodness and mercy are following him, following along the dusty path, into the ordinary field, into the unseen work, and into the night. Perhaps you have spent a long time looking behind you for something else, for a mistake, for a regret, for the fear that yesterday might catch up with you. Let the psalm place a gentler truth behind you now. Goodness and mercy. Goodness for what has been given, mercy for what was not perfect, both of them following quietly. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The sentence opens beyond the hills, beyond the flock, beyond every night that ends in morning. Home is the final word of the psalm. Home. The Lord is my shepherd. He maketh me to lie down. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. Thou art with me. Goodness and mercy shall follow me, and I will dwell at home. The sheep are quiet. David's hand has loosened around the staff. The warmth of the lamb beside him passes gently through the edge of his cloak. The stars have moved farther west. We may leave the pasture now and lift our eyes once more toward the hills. Psalm 121 is not attributed to David. Its promise is brought gently beside his watch. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. The hills are dark outlines beneath the sky. They are beautiful, and they hide what lies beyond them. A road may be quiet on one side and unknown on the other. The human eye reaches the ridge and can go no farther. David lifts his eyes, not because the hills themselves will answer, but because the limit of his sight has become the beginning of a question. From whence cometh my help? The question does not need to remain open. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. The Maker is not hidden by what he has made. The ridge that closes David's view does not close God's. The darkness that limits human sight does not limit divine care. The Maker knows the hill, the path beyond it, the eye of the shepherd, and each quiet life within the fold. My help cometh from the Lord. Help is not something David must manufacture from the last of his strength. It comes. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. The path is uneven. There are loose stones under the dry grass. In the dark, David places each foot with care. Yet the psalm's promise is deeper than perfect balance. The keeper will not lose him. Your own thoughts may feel unsteady tonight. Your confidence may not feel strong. Faith itself may feel no larger than the small fire beside the fold. The promise does not depend on how steadily you hold it. The keeper is steady. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Human attention rises and falls. Eyes grow heavy, the head lowers. A familiar sound becomes part of a dream. Even the most faithful watcher is made for rest. But there is no weary edge to the attention of God. No moment when your name slips from memory. No quiet interval when heaven is unattended. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Let that sentence remain without explanation for a while. He that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. David does not need to compete with the sleeplessness of God. He does not honor the keeper by refusing to be human. He honors the keeper by receiving the rest a human body needs. The sheep are not less faithful because they sleep. David is not less faithful because his eyes close, and you are not neglecting the world by leaving it in God's care until morning. The Lord is thy keeper. The word is close and personal. Thy keeper. The keeper of Israel is also the keeper of one tired person in one quiet room. The God of heaven and earth does not lose the particular within the vast. He sees the flock and the lamb, the village, and the single heart awake within it. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. Shade is care that comes near. It does not remove the road. It travels beside the one who walks it. Close as a shadow, near as the right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Day and night, the bright hour and the dark hour. The psalm gathers the whole turning of time into the care of God. Sunset does not make you less visible to him. The God who kept you through the day keeps the night as well. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The deepest keeping is not merely around us, it reaches the soul, the hidden life, the part of you no one else can fully see, the part that may be tired in ways you have not explained. He shall preserve thy soul. You do not have to stand outside yourself and keep guard. You may become quiet inside your own life. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in. David knows the rhythm of going out and coming in. Out from Bethlehem in the morning, through the gate and along the pale path toward grass and water. And then, when the days allow it, coming in towards smoke rising from the village, familiar voices, bread, lamplight, and home. The promise rests over both directions, over departures, over returns, over the door that closed behind you today, over the door you will open tomorrow. From this time forth, and even forevermore. The promise is not fragile. It does not expire in the deepest hour. It does not depend on David keeping the fire alive or on you staying awake to remember it. You may forget these words in sleep. The keeper will not forget you. The story has become very quiet now. The field is almost without movement. The fire is ember. The flock is a soft, silver shape beneath the stars. David's breathing has joined their breathing. Psalm 4 is an evening prayer. It holds the private thoughts of the heart, the stillness of the bed, and the confidence of sleep. The psalm says, "Commune with your own heart upon your bed, and be still." Be still. There is no demand inside those words, only permission. You may let the heart speak without answering every thought. A worry may rise and pass. A memory may appear and grow faint. A plan may begin and remain unfinished. Commune with your own heart upon your bed, and be still. The bed is not a courtroom. This hour is not an examination of everything you did or failed to do. The night does not require a verdict. Where something was good, give thanks. Where something was incomplete, give it mercy. Where something must wait, let it wait. Offer the sacrifices of righteousness and put your trust in the Lord. Trust is not a feeling you must produce. It may be as simple as opening the hand. David's hand is open now. The staff still lies near him. The flock still matters. But his fingers are no longer closed around the wood. You may open your hand as well, only inwardly. The work, the unfinished conversation, and the future that has not arrived may rest there without your grip. Put your trust in the Lord. Thou hast put gladness in my heart. Gladness may be quiet. It need not become excitement. It may be the small relief of discovering that you are not alone, the soft gratitude of a blanket, the knowledge that someone keeps watch while you rest. I will both lay me down in peace and sleep. Both. Lie down in peace and sleep. Peace is not postponed until every uncertainty is gone. David can lie down while the road remains beyond the ridge and the future remains unseen. For thou, Lord, only makest me dwell in safety. The final safety does not come from the height of the wall, the brightness of the fire, or the strength of the shepherd's grip. It comes from the Lord. I will both lay me down in peace and sleep. For thou, Lord, only makest me dwell in safety. The flock is still. The fire is ember. David's hand lies open beside the staff. The shepherd has a shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd. The watcher is kept. The Lord is thy keeper. The tired boy is permitted to rest. I will both lay me down in peace and sleep. The lamb beside him is warm. His head rests against the stone. Above the fold, one star remains. He watched the sheep. God watched him. The words are fewer now. May the shepherd lead you beside still waters. May the keeper hold what lies beyond your sight. May goodness and mercy follow quietly behind you. What belongs to this day may remain in God's keeping. You are not the final watcher. You are watched over.
The music will keeping the watch.
The low wind will move over the grass. The flock will breathe beneath the stars. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth, and even for evermore. He watched the sheep. God watched him. And through this quiet night, God watches over you. Good night.